that time again? Oh, yeah. It's a warm Wednesday morning in southern Connecticut as we make our way north. Oh, yeah, baby. Watched the president last night deliver his address to Congress. No support from any Democrats. That's always a good thing. My goodness, people. That's the big problem with our mindsets. When we get it in our head who our enemy is, all bets are off for discovering solutions. Just near impossible. Whereas if we withhold a position of celebrating diversity, then we just recognize it for what it is. It's a different mindset. And we just need to recognize it for what it is. So what is necessary is finding common ground and working towards those shared goals. For instance, everyone wants to be safe, to have opportunity, to have freedom, to express yourself. Have the means to succeed. And so if we give each other that, then we can discover paths that support those goals and build on it. It's the same thing in the Spirit of God. If you build on love, patience, joy, commitment, courage, creativity, then you're going to find yourself aligned with God. And God would be able to move through you because those are the parameters in which He defines Himself. But as soon as we start thinking, oh, you want me to do this, I don't want to do that. So then you end up doing all kinds of weird things that avoid what needs to be shared. And you run into those divisions. And boy, the peace that comes from being aligned is just amazing. That's why I'm trying to encourage you guys to just get aligned with not your ideas of God, God's evidence of God. In other words, there's some things that we know about God, and then there's some things we speculate. And then there's some things that we just believe for that we misuse knowledge because we think, well, if I just believe it, then that's all I need to do, and that's how God is blessed, is if I just believe it. Well, what if you're believing a lie? What if you're believing a fairy tale? What if you're believing something that you developed over time? So faith in and of itself is not going to be useful. It has to be balanced with knowledge. And the way we receive knowledge is by applying the principles of God and collecting the data of growth. And that's how you know you have knowledge of who God is. And it's not a matter of you holding on to some idea and just doing everything you can to believe. It's sort of like it's almost like worshiping the idea of believing instead of worshiping the truth. Oh yeah, baby. So as you get closer to the Spirit being a fire that's testing us and purifying us, things are just naturally going to burn out or burn away, because you can't continue your relationship with God and go your separate way. Not gonna happen. Well, I'll just fit you in over here, God. No. And some people look at that like, well, that in and of itself is a false notion of God, because God would never, demand that type of worship. When the reality is, because God is all love and all perfection, all of the energy that is extended to us is for us to align with that supreme knowledge and love. People think of it like, oh, you're putting God above everything else, like he needs to be worshipped, and that's just a foolish notion. No, we need to worship him. We need to change our minds and our hearts so that we are aligned with what his purposes are. And his purposes are always to heal and transform. And so that's why we know, not just believe, but we know that when we prioritize our actions to be in the context of healing and transformation, then we can see that even in this darkest of times, where people are seemingly trapped in their ignorance, their judgment, their hatred, their violence, their deception, that the light in us from God dispels the power of darkness. Oh yeah, baby. That's how you got to wake up every morning.